In the bustling city of Lagos, there was a man named Chijioke. He was a popular guy, known for his flashy lifestyle and a job that made him the envy of many. Chijioke lived in a big house in Lekki, a part of Lagos where the rich and famous stayed. He drove a brand new Mercedes and always wore designer clothes that made him stand out in the crowd. But Chijioke had a secret, one that no one knew. While he had a beautiful wife, Ngozi, who worked as a lawyer, he also had a side chick named Clara. Clara was everything Ngozi was not. She was fun, spontaneous, and never afraid to take risks. She lived in a small apartment in Suralere, far from the glamour of Chijioke's world, but she didn't mind. She enjoyed the little things in life. Chijioke had been seeing Clara for months now, and he promised her everything. He told her that one day, he would leave his wife and make her his own. But Clara had her own plans, and they didn't involve waiting forever. One evening, Chijioke had planned a surprise dinner for Ngozi, his wife, to celebrate their 5th wedding anniversary. He had rented a private space in a luxurious restaurant in Victoria Island and invited a few of their close friends. Ngozi was excited. She loved surprises, especially from Chijioke, whom she trusted and adored. What Chijioke didn't know was that Clara had a plan of her own. She had heard rumors that Chijioke was planning to be more committed to Ngozi and wanted to make things serious with her. Clara had enough of being the other woman. She was tired of being hidden in the shadows, so she decided to take matters into her own hands. On the night of the anniversary dinner, Clara sent Chijioke a message: "You've had enough of me, haven't you? I'll be at the restaurant tonight. I'm not leaving until I get what's mine." Chijioke was shocked when he read the message. He tried calling Clara, but she didn't pick up. He felt a cold sweat form on his forehead. He knew Clara was bored, but this was too much. He had to go to the restaurant and make sure everything went smoothly with Ngozi, but his mind was racing with thoughts of Clara. At the restaurant, everything seemed perfect. The candles flickered gently on the table as Ngozi smiled at him, not knowing what was going on in his mind. The laughter of their friends filled the room, but in Chijioke's chest, his heart was pounding. He kept checking his phone, expecting Clara's message or a call, but nothing came. Then, just as the night was winding down, Clara walked into the restaurant. The room went silent for a moment. Everyone turned to look at her. She wore a tight red dress that hugged her calves and high heels that clicked loudly against the polished floor. She wasn't there to blend in, she was there to make a statement. Chijioke's stomach dropped. He had no idea how Clara had found him, but there she was, walking towards him with a confident smile. Ngozi noticed the change in Chijioke's face. "Is everything okay, darling?" she asked, concern creeping into her voice. Before Chijioke could respond, Clara reached the table, stood in front of him, and said, "I think it's time we talk, Chijioke." The room grew tense. Ngozi looked from Clara to Chijioke, confused. "Who is she?" she asked, her voice sharp. Chijioke opened his mouth to speak, but Clara cut him off. "She's the one you've been lying to," Clara said, her voice loud enough for everyone to hear. "I'm the side chick you thought could be hidden forever." The room was silent. Ngozi's eyes widened, and Chijioke felt as if the ground beneath him had suddenly cracked open. He had never felt this exposed in his life. Clara wasn't finished. "I've had enough of being treated like a secret. So, here's the deal. Either you choose me, or you lose both of us. You can't have your cake and eat it too." Ngozi stared at Clara, then at Chijioke. She felt a rush of betrayal so strong it almost knocked her off her feet. Her mind raced. Was all the love, trust, and commitment she had given him just a lie? Chijioke, sweating now, looked at both women. He could feel his heart racing. This was not how he had planned things to go. But Clara wasn't waiting for him to decide. She had already made her choice. She turned around and walked out of the restaurant, leaving everyone in a stunned silence. Chijok didn't know what to do. His mind was a whirlwind of thoughts. He had to fix this, but how? He didn't want to lose either woman, but it seemed like his actions were about to lead him down a path of no return. Ngozi stood up from the table, her face pale. "I think it's best I go," she said quietly, before turning and walking out of the restaurant. Chijok sat there, his hand shaking as he reached for his phone. He tried to call Ngozi, but she didn't pick up. His eyes were fixed on the empty chair beside him. What had he done? The night that was supposed to celebrate his love for his wife had turned into a nightmare. He had no idea how to fix the mess he had created, and it seemed like the two women who meant the most to him were slipping away. But Clara wasn't done yet. The next morning, Chijok received a message from her. "I gave you a choice, Chijok. I hope you make the right one, but remember, I'm not waiting forever." Chijok stared at the message, the weight of his decisions crashing down on him. What would he do now? The morning after the disastrous dinner, Chijok woke up with a heavy heart. The sunlight streaming through the window felt too bright, almost as if it was mocking him. He lay in his bed, staring at the ceiling, his mind racing with everything that had happened. Clara's words echoed in his head, "I'm not waiting forever." He had never been good with decisions, but now he realized the consequences of his indecision had finally caught up with him. The woman he thought he could juggle between his luxurious life and his small apartment life had put him in a corner. And Ngozi, his wife, his partner, she deserved more than the hurt he had caused her. Chijok's phone buzzed again. Another message from Clara. He didn't want to look, but he had to. It read, "You chose your path, now walk it. Don't come back to me when it all falls apart." That was it. Chijok knew he couldn't keep running away from the reality of his actions anymore. His life was unraveling, and he had no one to blame but himself. He tried calling Ngozi again, but her phone went straight to voicemail. He could feel his chest tighten. What if she was done with him for good? What if Clara was serious about walking away? He needed to fix this, but he didn't know how. He decided to go to Ngozi's office. If there was any chance of salvaging his marriage, this was the moment. He stood outside her office building, staring up at the tall structure. His palms were sweaty. He had never felt so unsure of himself. When Ngozi stepped out of her office and saw him standing there, her face was unreadable. She didn't smile, didn't show any warmth. It was as if she didn't recognize the man standing before her. "What are you doing here, Chijok?" she asked, her voice calm but distant. I made a terrible mistake," Chijok began, his voice shaky. "Ngozi, I never meant to hurt you. You have to believe me." Ngozi crossed her arms, her eyes hard. "Believe you? After everything? You've been lying to me. Hiding the truth. Playing with my heart. I don't know if I can believe anything you say anymore." Chijok felt the weight of her words like a slap to his face. He didn't know how to make it right. He couldn't take back the hurt he had caused, the trust he had broken. "I know I messed up, and I know I don't deserve your forgiveness, but I need you to know that I love you. I really love you. And I'm sorry. I'll do anything to fix this. Please give me a chance," he pleaded, his eyes begging for her to hear him out. For a moment, Ngozi just stared at him, her expression unreadable. Then she shook her head. "You love me, Chijok?" she asked quietly. "Do you even know what love is? Love is trust. Love is honesty. Love is respect. And right now, you've shown me none of that. I'm not going to keep living a lie. I can't." Chijok felt his heart break. This was the end. The woman he had vowed to spend his life with was finally walking away, and it was all his fault. "I'm sorry," he whispered, his voice barely audible. Ngozi sighed, taking a deep breath. "Goodbye, Chijok. I hope you find what you're looking for, but it won't be with me. I've had enough." And with that, she turned and walked away, her heels clicking sharply against the pavement as she disappeared into the building. Chijioke stood there for a long time, unable to move. His world had collapsed around him, and he had no one to blame but himself. He pulled out his phone one last time, staring at the message from Clara, but this time, it didn't matter. It was too late. He had lost both of them. As he walked back to his car, he realized that sometimes, the choices we make come with consequences too heavy to bear. And no matter how hard you try to fix it, some things can never be undone. Chijioke's phone buzzed once more, but he didn't check it. He knew that whatever message awaited him, it wouldn't change anything. The path he had chosen had led him here, and now he had to face the reality of his own mistakes. In the end, he was left with nothing but regret. Moral lesson: trust and honesty are essential in relationships. Once broken, some mistakes can't be undone, and facing the consequences is part of personal growth. The decisions we make, especially in relationships, can have lasting impact. Sometimes, no matter how much we want to fix things, certain choices cannot be undone.